How's it going, everyone? Paul with Adaptable Survival. What I want to go through on this video today is talk about the Bluetti EB55. Stick with me as we dive into it. So I'm just out here exploring a new wildlife area that was close to me, so I apologize for some of the birds in the background. But I'm just getting wrapped up for the day out here, just exploring around, checking out the area, seeing if I could camp here, if there's good resources here, and kind of realized, I'm falling short on my calories for the day, so I wanted to make a stowaway gourmet that I had with me. And instead of using my stove, I wanted to show you all the EB55 from Bluetti. They were kind enough to send this to me. They contacted me about 6-7 weeks ago, said, hey, we love your channel, we love what you're doing, would you want to check out one of our power stations? They offered me this one, and for me it fit right into my niche with my build with my Jeep Patriot. Since I'm building this into like an overland light rig, I wanted something that was compact, that's not going to take up a ton of room, that I can easily power all my electronics on, use my laptop to edit videos, do admin stuff in the background when I'm traveling. So when they said they wanted to send me this, I was like, hell yeah, send it to me. So I've been using this one for about 4.5 weeks now. I use this when I go down to teach classes, when I stop for lunch. I can edit videos on my laptop. I can do emails, all that stuff. Where I'm going to show you today is I'm actually going to just heat up some water to make my stowaway gourmet. But I'm going to run through the specs, just hit the main bullet points so you can kind of understand what you get with this power station, how it might fit into your needs. It's a 537 watt-hour storage capacity in here. So for me, that's more than enough energy and power to get me through a trip, or if I'm on the road and I'm in between hotels, stuff like that. This puts out 700 watts of continuous power, and I'm not too knowledgeable with like the technical terminology with this, so I'm not going to get too in depth with that. But I started reading more up on that because when I was trying to find a hot plate to use with this, I initially bought a 1,000 watt, realized I couldn't use that with this, and I ended up finding a 500 watt hot plate that works perfectly. You can charge this in a couple of different ways. You can use solar panels, which I don't have, which I do plan on getting here shortly. The way I've been mainly charging this is just plugging it into a wall outlet. So at home, when I plug it in, it takes right about 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer to get a full charge. At a few hotels that I have stayed at, it's taken me closer to about 4 hours, maybe a little bit longer than that to get a charge. And that could just be because of the circuitry that they're using in their buildings. You have tons of outlets on the front, which I will get a close-up in here so you can see those. So let's run through some of the outside features. You have your DC output up here, a couple of 12-volt plug-ins. You have your input in here where you would attach some of your cables, and I'll dive into those in a second. This next DC output here, you have a USB-C 100 watt plug-in, and then a couple of USB plug-ins as well. Over on this side, you have a bunch of AC outputs as well. So like with my hot plate, that's typically where I'll plug that in. And then with each one of these little boxes here, they do have a little power button. So let me get this kind of propped up here. So if you hit that, that'll bring up this screen. It'll tell you how much battery you have in here, and then it'll tell you the input, output, kind of what kind of is going on with the system itself. Up top, you do have a wireless charging. I have a case on my phone that doesn't let me do that with my phone. Plus, I don't do that a whole lot, so I don't use this a ton, but you have that option. Got a carry handle, and on the sides, you have basically the airflow in, airflow out on this side. All right, so the next thing I want to touch on is this Max Edition pouch I have here. I just use this to keep all of my cables together in one place. I will end up getting a different pouch because although this works, I kind of want to use this for something else. But in here I get to keep all of my cables. and then the power supply for my EB55. So the power supply, where this input tab is, that'll plug in just right there. I keep the twist tie on here just because I usually just have this right by the outlet. This little strap comes to keep all the cables together. These two cables I don't use a whole lot. This is for your cigarette lighter in your car, and these are for the solar panels. Those would actually plug it straight into this yellow outlet here. And then this is the power cable for my power supply. And then now I just plug that straight into the wall. That's typically how I've been charging this EB55. All right, so just gonna get my hot plate set up. Try to get it even here so it's not moving around on me. And then simply all you do, hit that button, I plug that in, and then now I just turn on. And you see, as soon as I turn that on, my hot plate on, the output on here triggered. So hopefully that comes up in the video. Now, since I'm making a stowaway gourmet, which I got this one from one of my students, you know who you are, greatly appreciate it. I'm just gonna fill up probably a little bit more water than I really need, but now can set that on there, wait for that to boil. I'll actually turn this all the way up, and as you can see on the screen here, if that goes off, if I just hit that power button, it comes right back on. So in a matter of about 5 minutes, got this water heated up. Obviously, if I was using a butane stove, gas canister stove, I could heat this up a little bit quicker. But if I want to conserve that and use that for when I'm away from my vehicle, this gives me another option to heat up water for my meals, coffees, anything like that. So I just got to make sure that the burner's off. There's just a little dial at the bottom here. I don't need this water piping hot to like a rolling boil. I just need this warm enough to reconstitute this meal. Get the little oxygen packet out of here. Make sure you take that with you, don't litter. Now, just grab the handles here. Pour that in. So as I wait for my meal to reconstitute, let me just talk about the price point, my pros, my cons with the EB55. Price point, you're looking at $4.99 for the power station itself. If you wanted to get the solar panels with it, that's gonna almost double the price. I think on Bluetti's site, when I was looking, it was about $9.50. On Amazon, it's right around $1,000. So you might save a little bit of coin going straight through Bluetti for one of these. That kind of leads me into my pros with this. Size-wise, this is perfect for the overland light rig that I'm trying to build my Patriot into, and eventually into my next truck. So when they contacted me, it was just kind of perfect timing, because I've been looking at power stations, and they just happened to shoot me an email one day, and I was like, yeah, I would definitely love to check that out. So this size-wise, this works perfectly for my vehicle. I can keep this on one side with my gear, and I can sleep on the other side if I wanted to. The other pro I got with this, so I'm mainly charging my phone and my batteries off of this power station. When I do that, I can easily get 3 days out of this, and I get down to anywhere from 40 to 60%. It seems to fluctuate sometimes. Why that is, I'm not sure. Just might be the amount of times I'm charging off it, you know, what I'm plugging into it. With that being said, depending on what you're plugging into this, that's gonna wear on that charge pretty quickly. I know when I use my laptop, for instance, that the charge will deplete quicker, which is naturally gonna happen when you use a larger electronic on this. So be cognizant of what you're using on this and how that's gonna affect your total charge. My main con with this, obviously, is price point. It's not a cheap piece of gear. It's not gonna fit in everyone's budget. It's not gonna fit everyone's need. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy this. I'm not trying to give you a sugar-coated review. As you all know, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on the gear that I'm testing. If I like it, I will do a video. If I don't like it, I might reach out to the company first, talk to them through my issues with it, and then give a review. So I'm not beholden to them to give them a good review, or any company. I'm just going to give you my honest opinion of it based on my experience. So like I said, based on your situation, both financially and if this fits into your gear rotation or would work in your gear rotation, I'm going to leave that up to you, because I'm not going to sit up here and try to tell you what you need to buy. I don't know your situation. Buy what works for you. I just want to give you an honest opinion on this. Now, what sold me on Bluetti is I've seen two guys that I'm really close with use these. They've used and abused them. My one buddy, he works outside all day long. He's throwing stuff in and out of his truck, just beating on it, and his still works perfectly fine. I've even seen one get misted on and still works perfectly fine. Now, I'm not saying go out and abuse your gear by any means, but I'm saying I've seen it used rough and then so puts through some hard use, and it's still powering through. So that's what kind of sold me on Bluetti, and they were honestly one of the brands I was looking at. Also looked at Jackery, looked at Goal Zero. There's a ton of brands out there, so kind of find what's going to work for you in your situation if a power station does fit into your needs. In the comment section below, let me know if you're using a power station and what brands that you like to use, or if you've been looking at power stations. As you all know, I'm always trying to use new gear, test stuff out, see what works, see what doesn't. So let me know what you're using down below. I will throw a link to Bluetti's site so you can check out this power station, all the other power stations, and I'll throw my Amazon link down there below as well. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. That gets the channel more circulation, gets more eyes on what we're building here, brings those people into our community so we can grow our knowledge base and learn together and grow together. As always, this has been Paul with Adaptable Survival. Adapt your mind, your body, and your gear.